Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another review of the Stranger Things tie-in books. I did a review about a week ago of the first one, chronologically speaking anyway, and this was Suspicious Minds by Gwenda Bond. I'll have a link to that in the top right hand corner there, but this was pretty crappy. You can skip this one. You can check out my review to see the good and the bad. And next up, I also talked a little bit about the comic books in that one as well. The comics, that four-part series that trailed through Will's experience in the Upside Down during season 1, which was really great. I recommend people check that out. But today's review is on Stranger Things: Darkness on the Edge of Town, and this is by Adam Christopher. This is actually a really solid book. I really enjoyed this quite a bit. It's a great mystery. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, honestly. I really didn't, because I heard the premise of it. I mean, here's the little back. It's part of the dialogue from it. It says, "Before I was chief of Hawkins Police, I used to be a cop in New York City, a detective working homicide." 11 mouthed the unfamiliar word. "Yeah," said Hopper. "Homicide means murder." Elle's eyes went wide. Hopper sighed, wondering if he really had just opened Pandora's box. In the summer of 1977, something strange happened. So the premise is, this is a story. This is one of Hopper's cases when he was still in New York City. We learned that in season 1, that he used to be a big city cop, even though he'd grown up in Hawkins and all of that. So this is a case, a specific case, kind of a big deal, real moment in his life that took place in New York City before he ended up coming back to Hawkins. Now, if this isn't the turning point that made him come back to Hawkins, we know from season 1 that was the death of his daughter. That was what made his marriage fall apart and what eventually made him, I think, come back to Hawkins, where he became chief of police there. So it's not breaking any kind of continuity. It fits perfectly in place. But the reason I didn't look forward to it when I just heard about it was because I thought, well, it's just a mystery. I mean, that's cool. I love mysteries. I love just flat out good old mysteries. But Stranger Things, you go to that universe, to that Stranger Things universe, and these stories and these characters for a paranormal, mystery, a paranormal adventure, a suspense thriller, of paranormal setting. And it was clear in season 1 this was all new to Hopper, the whole paranormal thing. So you can't just, suddenly write an earlier paranormal history or adventure that he would have had. So, that wouldn't work. So it really could only be just a flat out, mystery. And I thought, well, yeah, that's cool, but if I'm going to deal with this character in this universe and not have anything paranormal, it just didn't, but I wanted to read it so I could review it anyway, and I really was pleasantly surprised at how great it is despite all of that, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I got the nice Barnes & Noble edition, which comes with a poster, which I could pull out and put up on the wall or something like that, but pretty cool. But anyway, it starts out set in 1984, which is actually after the events of season 2 of Stranger Things. So this takes place with Hopper and Elle in the cabin there, and Hopper has officially adopted Elle at this point. So this takes place after season 2. She's officially his daughter, and she's it's Christmas time. They're snowed in, and she can't reach any of her friends or whatever because they're away for Christmas. The Mike and everybody like that. So she's bored, and she's been looking through the house and seeing those boxes. And when season 2, we even saw her lift the floor up, and there's the box, the Hawkins box that she pulled out that had the information on her mother. But there was also a box labeled New York City, or just New York. And that's the one that she pulls out this time. And she's wanting to know more about Hopper. He's her adopted dad now. So she wants to know more about him, and she's wanting to know specifically what happened in New York City. What are the contents of this box about? And they are all these elements that pertain to this old case that he had. So he decides to go ahead and tell her. So I like that setting. So even though we're going to have the story, the main story is Hopper in his past, things before any of the other Stranger Things, characters came into play or whatever, at least it's set in the context of him bonding with Elle, his new adopted daughter. And I love that. That's good. Link it to the timeline, the continuity, the period that we like, that we really are accustomed to thus far. So that was good. Then the story itself, excuse me, voice is a little cracky there. The story itself deals with it's not, as far as Hopper knows, and it's kind of left vague if maybe there's a paranormal element to it or not. Hopper never even considers that it could have been paranormal until he's telling it to Elle, and that makes sense, because this is not something that was in his life blatantly. But it's creepy. It's a creepy mystery. I won't spoil it for you, but there's a serial killer. There's a series of murders, and they're all these Zimmer cards are left on each of the bodies, which are used for like sort of paranormal or parapsychology research. And it ends up dealing with a satanic cult and all kinds of things going on in New York City. And this takes the events of the memory go back to 1977 when he was in New York City. And it's really pretty, man, it's good. It's well paced. It's a good solid clip. It's a good story, good mystery. And by the end, you feel like you've really gone on a ride. It incorporates the blackout and everything like that. So it was great. Now, in terms of the nostalgia element, which Stranger Things, the universe, is we're accustomed to getting, it does give us that, not gratuitously, but just in the right way. So, for example, we have a moment where Hopper and his wife just get back from the movie theater and they just seen Star Wars. And he doesn't even come out and say that it's Star Wars, but you know that it is from the things that Hopper's saying about it. He really enjoyed the movie and this and that. And it wasn't gratuitous because it was a good moment where we have to see the relationship of him and his wife, how they act together just when they're together, like on a date like that, because of what was coming next in the story. So that was good. That was fine. There are other little touches, for example, in 1977, and I didn't know the history of this at all, I just sort of knew vaguely what was going on, but apparently at this point, at least as far as the book presents it, this was the moment when women were actually enabled to be detectives on a police force. They could actually be detectives right there with, so he gets a new partner, Delgado, and she is she's a woman that comes in. And I first saw that and thought, oh boy, here's an in where we're going to get a bunch of social justice, agenda, which is going to take us out of the story. It's going to be contrived. It's going to be forced. None of that. Didn't get any of that. Elle asks about it and why is it such a big deal, or why is he so surprised rather that he has a woman partner, and he tells her because that's just history, that kind of thing happened or whatever. But it doesn't preach to you. It doesn't, Hopper himself was never. He was shocked that he had a woman partner, but he wasn't like, oh, woman, you can't be a nothing like that, because that's not really who Hopper's character is anyway. And we just didn't have any of that. There was just no little segues where the story stops to give us a stupid little sermon about that. It's just perfect the way it is, so that was good. There's even a moment towards the end, he and Delgado ended up getting together quite well. They're great partners. And there's a moment where she's messing with him at the end, and she says, okay, Cher, this and that, like she's calling them Sonny and Cher, and he says to her, Cher, hey, I'm Sonny, you're Cher. And she said, well, why am I Cher? And he said, because Cher's a woman. And I thought, oh, please, no, please, I'm begging you, do not end this book at that point with some contrived, forced-in sermon about how I don't have to be the woman character just because I'm a woman, and I was just, this is going to ruin everything. But it didn't go there. It didn't. This is how cool this was. So she calls him Cher, and he says, hey, I'm Sonny. And she says, why is that? He said, because Cher's a woman. And she looks at him and she says, Cher's a woman? And that's comedy, right? That's perfect in character for Delgado too. The kind of thing she would say once you get to know her character. That was it. They left it there. No stupid sermon. No put the brakes on the damn plot or pull characters out of who they are just so they can give the little sermon that the author wants to put across, because social justice, blah blah blah. It wasn't in that at all. Seriously, this piece of crap book could have learned from that a great deal. This book was, check out my review and you'll see all of the nonsense social justice that was shoehorning in. It was really ridiculous. So I truly recommend Stranger Things, Darkness at the Edge of Town. It's a great story. If you like Stranger Things, if you like the character of Jim Hopper, and I know a lot of people do, I really enjoyed his character in both of those seasons, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in season 3, which drops like right now as I'm recording this. So, if you're excited about season 3 and you're gonna, like most people, you're gonna binge all the way through the season and then realize, oh, great, now, 2-3 years before they possibly give us anything next, even if they are, I don't know. These are some ways that you can experience more of the universe. It's good. So definitely check that out. Check out the comics. Like I said, I reviewed the first 4-part series of comics in that previous review that the link is there for. And there's another short mini series of comics called 6, which is out. 2 issues have been released thus far. I will review that once those issues are released. But up next, I still do need to read this one, which deals with Runaway Max. I think this is about Max's character and what she did before season 2 that caused them to have to move to Hawkins, I think. I haven't really looked into it too much because now that I finished this one, I can read this. So I will read this and provide a review in this coming week for you as well, now that Stranger Things is still, going to be a hot button issue this week with the release of season 3. I'm looking forward to season 3 myself. Just about finished rewatching season 2, and I'm going to read this up and review that as well. That is all for now then. I think I showed a little bit of these in the last video, but I did pick up those great DVD editions of the, or Blu-ray editions rather, of the first 2 seasons, and I love how they make them look like, VHSs that you would rent, back in the day. They got that box, you would open it up and there'd be the case, but it's instead you pull it down and it's just the DVDs, and they're little extras, like they've got, some of the old photos that they used to look like when you used to take film and take it, to get it developed, and those were your pictures. Oh my gosh, seriously, how far have we come? But it looks like the quality of those old photos that you would have. These are set pictures and everything behind. So really cool. I recommend picking up the DVDs. Even though they're on Netflix, who knows what's going to happen with all the streaming series and all of the mix-ups of the providers and everything, and rights going and being pulled. Who knows? So I recommend checking out the DVDs. Definitely check out Stranger Things, Darkness on the Edge of Town by Adam Christopher. He did a great job. And I will be back soon with the last tie-in novel that I know that exists anyway. And I'll be back, of course, with more reviews, comics, live streams. Do check out my own graphic novel. Link is in the description below. I'll put the ad at the end of the video for Tales from the Stacks, in demand on Indiegogo right now. That's, of course, in the vein of Stranger Things. It's sort of a Twilight Zone-inspired collection of 3 uncanny tales. So it's a great reading companion to the series, which will be fulfilled and delivered this September. So that's all for now. Until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the stories you love. Thanks for watching.